It just occurred to me. I have this whole series of guides for the Plaguemancer, who's based around Dreeg's Evil Eye. And I haven't done a Dreeg's Evil Eye skill overview video. So that's what this is. And I've done so many of those guides, I'll just link to them for footage. And we'll just jump right into Dreeg's Evil Eye. So, the text summons one of the infinite eyes of Dreeg, the great guardian of the hidden realm. The eye quickly speeds towards the target, then detonates itself. So, just so everyone knows what that looks like, that. Now, when it hits a thing, it explodes with poison damage. And it's spammable. So you can just fill a room with poison crap. And you'll see some procs happening because of my gear. Now, I don't use Dreeg's Evil Eye in that mode. I actually use the Focused Gaze Transmeter, which I'll show after I go through the modifiers. So Dreeg's has 3 modifiers. The first is Blood Burst. The mystical eye bursts on impact, showering nearby enemies with vitriolic gore. So this causes it to, explode, deal some damage. It adds weapon damage onto things. Oh, right. And of course, it has fragments based on level, meter radius based on level, and then acid damage and poison damage. This is more acid from an explosion and more poison. The second modifier is a Terrifying Gaze. The frightful gaze of the eldritch and immortal Dreeg may cause enemies to stand frozen in fear or simply run in fruitless terror. This, when the eye hits, has a chance to cause enemies to either be stunned for a period of time or get terrified and run away. It also adds on % acid and % poison damage to the main attack. The third modifier is Vile Eruption. Putrid chunks burst forth from the eye upon impact, inflicting further pain upon any foes unfortunate enough to be close to its detonation. This adds fragments onto Dreeg's Evil Eye, and we can look at the fragments. You can see everything's exploding. Well, the explosions, the fragments added on, are the little bits falling off. I mean, that's also what the fragments are from this, but they'll deal acid and vitality damage. And Dreeg has a single transmuter. Focused Gaze. Channel the foul powers of Dreeg into each eye, causing it to burst with greater intensity and harm, but also requiring a longer pause between casts. So what this does is it adds a cooldown to Dreeg's, but it immensely increases all of the damage. It increases the crit damage, total damage modifier, the acid and poison damages, and it reduces the target's physical resistance for 4 seconds. And this turns Dreeg's Evil Eye into this arcing bomb, and it deals an immense amount of damage. It deals a ridiculous amount of damage. Let's buff up here. With a poison-oriented character, Dreeg's Evil Eye deals a ridiculous amount of damage. It's almost a little silly and unfair. If you go look at those videos I've done for the Plaguemancer, you'll see the amount of damage Dreeg's Evil Eye can output. It's almost an absurdity. It is definitely an absurdity of nature in this game that you can deal this much damage with a single ability with a single shot. But it's almost an absurdity in just all of gaming how much damage you can deal with Dreeg's Evil Eye in this mode. And the reason I run it like this is because Dreeg's is poison-based. And because it's poison-based, you can hit an enemy with it and just run away, and they will just die. They'll just disintegrate away over the duration of Dreeg's, which has been increased by Focused Gaze, and increased by Terrifying Gaze, and probably increased by your gear, so it's way more than 3 seconds of damage, and it deals a lot of damage. So in class Synergies, Blood of Dreeg is so stupidly obvious, especially the aspect of the Guardian part. It adds on acid, vitality, and poison damages. Those are your damage types, while giving you the physical and poison acid resistances. And of course, Blood of Dreeg is a heal, and gives you more offensive ability, which increases the chance for you to crit that thing. And you can crit dots in this game. It's what makes Dreegs ridiculously powerful, because yeah, this damage is a lot. It's actually a lot when you realize, oh, the dot can crit. So yeah, it's 30,000 damage over 3 seconds, which is actually a little more because the duration is increased, but like that is not 10,000 a second. That's a lot more, because you'll see these like 25k crits pop up as a dot. Yeah. Also, possession gives you some poison and acid damage. And then, I don't think Soleil's has it anymore. No, it has vitality damage, but we don't really care about it. Curse of Frailty, the vulnerability section, does have a reduction to poison acid damage. I'm not presently using it, but it is a viable option to combine with Dreegs, regardless of the version you're using, Focused Gaze or not. And I think that about covers it, because there's, like, yeah, it is a poison acid tree, the Occultist, it's one of them. But it is only a couple abilities have it. To outclass Synergies, Nightblade pops immediately to mind, mostly because of Merciless Weapator. Merciless Weapator give you just more acid and poison damage, but also, oddly, Amoros's Blade Burst. I know it's another main attack that you're going to run alongside Dreegs, but Lethal Assault, all you need to do is have this proc on, and you get more acid and poison damage, and you'll deal more damage just in general because you'll get bonus offensive ability off it. So a trick I like to do, since I'm running this character with a ranged weapon, he can plunk in an arrow, get the Lethal Assault bonus, and then that affects all of his poison damage, including Dreeg's Evil Eye. If you're running melee, you can dual wield, and you don't even need to pick up the dual wield abilities, because I do recommend Breath of Blogothian if you're doing that. But if you're dual wielding, all of a sudden you can use Shadow Strike and Nadala's Justifiable Ends. And when you have Nadala's Justifiable Ends at or near its cap, or above its cap, it also deals a ridiculous amount of poison damage. So this build would be you jump on the enemies, hit them with Nadala's. Nadala's creates that explosion of poison, throw Dreegs on top of that, and you have something that is dying in a rush. You can also combine in Nadala's Hidden Hand if you're actually staying in the melee fight, so you can pounce on the enemy, throw out Dreegs, whack them a bunch with your swords or axes or maces or what have you, and then get the hell out of there because you're probably really squishy, and everything will just be poisoned and dying. Night's Chill, regardless of build, I recommend it. It's just automatically, to anything that comes within melee range of you, takes the poison acid resistance penalty. And yeah, you're generally not going to be wanting to go into melee with this build, but if you're doing the pounce on the enemy version, I would go with this over Curse of Frailty. But you can use either version, Curse of Frailty or Veil of Shadow with Night's Chill. You can use either version if you're doing the ranged variation on the build. There aren't really any other synergies I would recommend. The only other thing I could think of is jumping to the Arcanist to make a Warlock, and then use Myvan Sphere Protection and Mirror of Aractes to keep yourself alive, while combining in Mental Alacrity with its casting speed increase, if you're doing the casting speed variation of Dreeg's Evil Eye. Otherwise, I think the main thing to go for is a Witch Hunter. You could also do the Witchblade, go to the Soldier, and for that, you're mostly going to the Soldier to get the defensive abilities. If you run a shield like that, you can actually build up a really high defense and basically make like a Poison Knight. There is a little bleed synergy between the Occultist and the Soldier, but you're mostly going to be going for Soldier to get your defenses, Occultist to have your Dreeg's Evil Eye, and all your poison abilities. Oh, right, and Black Death, I forgot to mention, as an in-class synergy, also has poison damage, so you can work it into a Dreeg's build fairly easily. So item synergies, I mean, there's a whole set for it, a whole 5-set set. The Shroud of Dreeg, Dreeg's set. You have your Ruined Dagger of Dreeg, the Black Gem of Dreeg, the Hood of Dreeg, the Vestments of Dreeg, and the Mantle of Dreeg. All of these are heavily Dreeg's Evil Eye focused and heavily poison damage focused. Getting the full set together gives you Secrets of the Guardian, Which, what's the requirement I'm missing for this thing? Oh, I don't have dual wielding, that's right. In Secrets of the Guardian is chance on critical attack. You get a giant bonus to your various damages. So you get a lot of flat poison damage added to your attacks that have weapon damage, and then all these percents added on as well, and a huge amount of poison retaliation. I would definitely say this is more for the casting speed version of Dreeg's Evil Eye, rather than the Focused Gaze version, mostly because the 5-set bonus is casting speed. Otherwise, I do prefer running it in the 4-set with a different weapon. In this case, the Quill Thrower of Dreeg, which is a Dreeg's related crossbow. Like I said, I play this as a ranged character. I thunk a crossbow into my enemies to get the lethal assault bonus, and then throw my Dreeg's Evil Eye out there and all my other poison crap onto the enemies, and then run away. Because, I mean, why stay around? They're gonna die anyways. Just move on. And you also get the Eye of the Guardian proc off this weapon, which is pretty cool. Those were those little eyeballs you saw floating around as I was doing attacks against the training dummies. And let's hop right into Devotion. Devotion, there's a whole lot of poison support. A surprising amount of poison support in the Devotion constellations. So you have the Scorpion Sting, Guardian's Gaze, again, more little floating eyeballs of Dreeg. You have Acid Spray, which will reduce the target's resistances as well. A great add-on, and it's actually what I run on Dreeg's Evil Eye. You have the Fetid Pool ability, which leaves around little poison pools whenever you're hit. You have the Tainted Eruption ability, which is like a giant poison nova. I just moved on from it. I think it works great with the Shadow Strike build. And I would put it on Shadow Strike, and you Shadow Strike in, because Shadow Strike is a cooldown ability, has an increased chance to proc, so you Shadow Strike on your enemies, Shadow Strike procs, obviously, but then Tainted Eruption also procs, and it sends out the Poison Nova. You can also put it on Dreeg's Infinite Gaze, which is that sort of, it's like a bunch of Dreeg's Evil Eyes emanating from you in a Nova, and it has an increased chance to hit, on top of having a lot of hits in there. You can also run... There's another thing you can run. Oh yeah, the Rat has some extra poison damage on it. I don't actually think there's another poison damage thing in here. Twin Fangs is vitality damage, if you're focusing on that a little bit more. You probably won't be though, it's mostly poison damage you're going for. Yeah, I think I've pointed out all the devotions. It's a pretty simple devotion setup. I generally lean towards going for Guardian's Gaze. You can go for Scorpion Sting, though. The Rat is an easy way to build up your Chaos and Eldritch, and that'll let you explore down to more things, because really the Manticore is one of your go-tos, and getting the Chaos Eldritch going to get this is supremely important in my opinion. And then you're probably going to pick up some Ascendant on top of that, so you can get into the Affliction, pick up Fetid Pool. I have a weird setup for this guy, and you can see it in the actual build video, and the reason why I'm going for the ranged nodes on those guys. But here's the thing. This ability is so powerful, you can really run any devotion setup you want. I mean, I almost mean that literally. You could take this character and pick up Spear of the Heavens, for all you would really care, because Dreeg's Evil Eye is that strong, Poison is that strong. Hell, you could go over to Order and just build up your defenses in Order, and then not even worry about your damage, or the damage you take. And even not worry about your damage, because all you're doing is gearing poison stuff. And you'll just kill with it. Very easy to build for. Very fun to build for. So that's Dreeg's Evil Eye as a skill overview video. I have a whole series of stuff titled The Plaguemancer. If I remember, I will have links in the description below, but you can always search my channel for them. And it's a really great build, and I do recommend everyone out there, at least who is looking for a build that's really powerful and easy to make, that can handle endgame, that is really glass cannon-y, if you really like glass cannons, that can be made not glass cannon-y based on your class combo. I recommend Dreeg's Evil Eye. It's a great ability, lots of customization, lots of ways to take it. So I do recommend it to everyone out there who's looking for a Grim Dawn build. That's really fun. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time for another Grim Dawn skill overview guide.